Chapter 448. Despite the familiarity of it all, every action felt refreshingly new. Even though Yudir had intertwined bodies with Kishir countless times, he had never willingly extended his hand like this before. It was also the first time he freely let out his voice without worrying about someone overhearing. Nothing was shameful, and he wanted to miss nothing. Yudir's face, lost in deep satisfaction and concentration, turned almost expressionless, as if devoid of emotion. If it weren't for his heated breath escaping between slightly parted lips, and the darker than usual flush tinting his eyes, no one would have known the extent of his passion. But Kishir, in a state of no different from his own, was able to fully read the intense emotions Yudir was experiencing. The look in Yudir's eyes as he moved without inhibition, like shredding a layer of self-control, seemed like a flame burning within ice. How captivating yet poignant, awe-inspiring and intoxicating the raw and pure desire revealed by this typically secretive and quiet person could be, Yudir probably didn't even realize it himself. Instinct and reason flickered dangerously close, crossing paths incessantly. For that moment, neither could think of anything else. Finally, the climax arrived, turning his mind hazy. Yudir, trembling with pleasure akin to a tidal wave, clashed lips with Kishir once again. The small sensations of their lips not aligning perfectly, of bumping and sliding, brought a sense of euphoria. How many seconds could they have endured such overwhelming sensations? Only then did a semblance of rational thought begin to return. The first thing he felt was the warm liquid that had wetted both hands. Most of it had pooled in Kishir's palms, but some had spluttered onto their bodies and the hem of their clothes. Lying beneath Kishir, who covered him entirely, Yudir felt as if he was trapped in the world's smallest, most solid and comforting cave. Glancing down at his exposed stomach and the liquid trickling down, he raised his eyes to scan Kishir's body. If Yudir's attire was disheveled, Kishir's was ripped and torn to an even greater degree. It would have looked less messy if he had taken everything off. The reddish marks faintly visible between his shoulders and collarbone caught Yudir's eyes. They were handprints, left in haste as Yudir had grasped him. Those small areas of flushed skin, damp from sweat and heat, looked surprisingly obscene. The same went for his face, revealed through the disheveled golden hair. Leaning in to gently rest his forehead against Yudir's, Kishir softly bit and sucked on Yudir's lower lip before letting go. The kisses that followed on the lips, the jaw, the neck, and even the wet hand that he elegantly pulled towards himself felt like hot brands. The stigmas that had marked Yudir in his past life had never shaken him, but the brands Kishir offered, filled with fervent and scorching heat, were different. Without uttering a word, they profoundly shook Yudir's core. At every touch, his skin trembled and his heightened senses focused solely on that spot. Still intoxicated by the lingering pleasure, Yudir looked at him, and Kishir looked right back. His lips, flushed as though they were about to burst from countless kisses, were impossible to look away from. ... Like himself, Kishir also couldn't extinguish the internal flames boiling within him with just one evolution. The locked gazes, the scent that thickened enough to fog his mind, and the persistent heat below, despite having been relieved once, left no doubt in Yudir's mind. He didn't know how far Kishir was willing to go, but he had a rough idea of what the next step would be. Could they proceed further? Upon contemplating, the answer effortlessly flowed in. If possible, he wanted to go ahead. Though it was not a mating season, and even though he didn't yet know if Kishir wanted to go further. A remarkably firm resolve reared its head. Any fear related to the act was gone. All he desired was to reach Kishir Lahore more deeply and more completely. He wanted to reciprocate all that the man before him had given. He wanted to see more faces of Kishir that he didn't know. Commander, in order to convey this conclusion, the very moment Yudhir reached his hand toward Kishir's chest, something happened. Before he could even complete the gesture, the thick scent around them suddenly reacted strangely. Just as Yudhir's scent explosively intensified, light burst out from the point where his hand made contact. What? Opening his eyes, he saw the light wasn't coming from Kishir, but from his own hand. The faintly glowing red light spread up his arm vividly enough to shine through the skin. Yudhir noticed various colored energies emanating from beyond Kishir's chest where his hand had touched. It was something he had seen before. Startled, he pulled back his hand, and the light that had enveloped it began to fade. The energies visible beyond Kishir's chest also disappeared. Kishir too looked at the scene with widened eyes and softly whispered, "What was that just now?" Yudhir looked down at his hand, still faintly wrapped in the red light. The shock caused his arousal to subside, and he finally remembered what they were supposed to be doing tonight. Getting lost in someone to the point of forgetting even what they were originally supposed to do was a first in his life, no matter how exceptional the circumstances had been since yesterday. Sitting up silently, Yudhir turned his head toward Kishir. In the man's eyes, he could see a look that suggested he had some idea what was going on. "It seems like I have managed to unlock the power flowing within you, Commander." Should he feel relieved that he succeeded even in this situation? His mind thought so, but his feelings were somewhat complicated. It was an unfamiliar sentiment. Kishir also sat up and gave a small smile. "That's good to hear. Do you feel any pain or anything unusual?" Yudhir shook his head. Taking a deep breath, Kishir spoke. "Getting greedy beyond this point may be difficult. Let's clean up first, and then we can try that again properly. Is that okay?" "Yes." Standing up from the floor, the man seemed to have an idea and extended his hand toward Yudhir. "Although it's a bit regrettable, shall we bathe together? We never shared a bathroom while staying here after all." A playful arch of the eyebrows and a smile adorned his face, a lingering warmth still palpable. Although an unexpected incident had occurred, he wasn't disappointed in the least. The moment Yudhir sensed this, he was finally able to quell his astonishment. "Yes." Kishir grinned brightly. Led by his hand, Yudhir entered the bathroom with him for the first time.